Unless you've been living under a rock in 2018, football fans will know that Sergio Ramos is public enemy number one at Liverpool. What started as a Champions League rivalry has fast descended into a bitter dispute between players from rival clubs and countries. Goals here to break down a timeline of the furious feud 6 months on from the Champions League final between Real Madrid and Liverpool. All the hype heading into the game was whether the brilliance of Mohamed Salah, who was in the form of his life, could be cancelled out by the back-to-back European champions. Turns out, Real Madrid defender Ramos had a secret plan to deal with Salah. Take him out entirely. He grappled the forward to the ground, injured his shoulder, and forced him off in tears in the first half. Anger and rage bubbled over on social media from Liverpool fans. The more people watched the incident, the more people were convinced that the tackle was no accident. But Ramos and Real Madrid were the ultimate winners. From then on, Zinedine Zidane's side had the upper hand, physically and psychologically. They defeated Liverpool 3-1. The rage only got worse after the match, when eagle-eyed social media users spotted that Ramos had elbowed goalkeeper Karius in the head. Karius subsequently put in the worst second-half performance of his life to lose Liverpool the final single-handedly. Karius later claimed he'd been concussed by the incident, impeding his ability to save shots, which, of course, Ramos mocked publicly, winning him few friends. But it didn't matter. Karius' Liverpool career was finished. Ex-France star Christophe Dugarry summed up the highs and lows of Ramos after the final. He said, "Ramos is an absolute genius. He's one of those defenders who helps you win titles, who makes you come out on top. Okay, he is a cheat, he is dirty, but you cannot argue with his results." The Salah-Ramos melodrama wasn't finished though. Far from it. The World Cup was fewer than 3 weeks away. Thoughts immediately turned to how Salah, arguably the most celebrated player in Arab football history, was set to miss out on Egypt's first finals since 1990. Ramos wishing Salah a speedy recovery on Twitter didn't convince people to put down the pitchforks. Liverpool boss Jurgen Klopp described the incident as like wrestling. The European Judo Union described the incident as very dangerous, and over 300,000 people signed a petition calling for UEFA, FIFA, anyone really, to punish Ramos. The peak came when an Egyptian lawyer named Bassem Wahba launched a $1.2 billion lawsuit against Ramos, which, let's be honest, is pretty ridiculous. Imagine if every time a player mistimed a tackle that they had a lawsuit hanging over their heads. Whether Salah would win his World Cup fitness race was one of the biggest talking points heading into the tournament, until Spain fired their head coach, Julen Lopetegui, the day before the finals. After watching the opening game defeat to Uruguay from the sidelines, Salah started in a must-win match against Russia. Ultimately, he was helpless in denying a 3-1 defeat to the tournament hosts, but he did at least score a consolation goal from the penalty spot. Salah's movement on and off the ball against Russia betrayed the fact that he was really struggling with that shoulder injury. Still, he started again against Saudi Arabia, but with both teams having lost their opening 2 matches, both teams were just playing for pride. Salah's month of misery was over, and Egypt's World Cup woes left supporters thinking what could have happened if he'd been fully fit. The hysteria wasn't forgotten. Nothing's ever forgotten on social media, but still it did die down quite a bit. But at the end of August, Salah and Ramos were reunited at UEFA's Champions League group stage draw, and Ramos trolled Salah like only he could. After accepting the award for the best defender of last season, on returning to his seat, Ramos clearly touched the very same shoulder he'd injured a few months earlier. Salah's stony face hid some serious rage. In interviews since then, Ramos has insisted he never intended to injure his opponent. In September, he said, "I never wanted to hurt a colleague on the pitch, of course, so my conscience is really clear about what I did that night." But in November, Liverpool centre-back Dejan Lovren appears to have taken a side job as chief Ramos taunter. First, he claimed he was a better defender than his Real rival. He said, "If you look, Ramos has made many more mistakes than me, but he's at Real Madrid. When you do make a mistake, but you win 5-1 or 5-2, nobody sees the mistake. You know what I mean?" Ramos shrugged it off with a subtle jibe at the fact that he's won more titles than Lovren. He said, "I've said it many times. I don't know if these things are said out of frustration or for other reasons. I'm not going to answer Lovren or whoever wants to win 3 front pages or start the news bulletin. Everyone wins things for himself on the pitch." So what did Lovren do? He turned up the taunting, of course, boasting in an Instagram live video after Croatia beat Spain in November that he killed Ramos with his very own elbow. He told Ramos, You just keep talking at the press conference, dude. They are just pussies. We showed bigger balls than them. They were rude on the pitch. No fair play. But once again, Ramos had the last laugh. Croatia coach Zlatko Dalic promised to reprimand Lovren for his taunting. Croatia's defeat to England in the final UEFA Nations League game relegated them to a lower league. And Ramos will sleep easy, knowing that he won a Champions League title in 2018, while Lovren won nothing for club and country. Football can be a cruel sport, and who knows what awaits Salah, Lovren, Karius, Liverpool and Egypt in 2019. But for now at least, it's safe to say that Ramos has won this feud. Let us know in the comments section what you make of this Ramos-Liverpool debate. Are you Team Ramos, Team Salah, or have you just sat back and enjoyed watching the feuding football fireworks? Hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to get all the latest Champions League coverage and so much more direct from goal.